Thank you, Vera. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the High IBA Nigeria chapter, it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar titled AI Governance, the next era for business analysts. My name is Sarome Oluwatosin Seidat, and I'll be your host for today's section. Whether you're joining us as a business analyst, project manager, product owner, consultant, thank you for taking the time to be here today. We appreciate your presence and your commitment to continuous learning. AI is rapidly transforming how organizations operate, and as business analysts, our responsibilities are evolving beyond requirements gathering and solution design. Today, we'll explore the critical role of AI governance in ensuring AI systems are ethical, compliant, trustworthy, and aligned with business objectives. But before we start, I would like us to play one or two icebreakers just so we can be in the mood for this section. Please kindly confirm if you can see my screen. Then we can start. Thank you. Please, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I do.
Thank you so much. Please feel free to unmute so that we can just play this game together before the section starts. So, what do you think number one is?
Big win.
Big week.
Okay, that's correct. Well done. Number two,
Lunchbox.
no. Try again.
Four, four square. Four square.
No, more like you're going for lunch. Yeah, out. Can
Lunch
you
break.
guess? No.
Lunch. Yeah.
Out
So
for lunch.
yes, out for lunch. Number three. Shall I?
Large language
Hmm?
model.
No. Can you see? If you look at the spelling, it's
Language.
something.
Wrong
No,
language.
no.
Foreign language.
Yes, foreign language is correct.
Mm.
What about number four?
Three wise men.
Correct. Three wise men. Number five.
Pain in the neck.
Yes, you're correct. Pain
Yeah.
in the neck. Number six.
Cutting edge.
Cutting
Cutting
edge.
edge. Cutting
Cutting
edge.
edge. Yeah,
Cutting
cutting
edge.
edge. Yes. Number seven.
Speaking in tongues.
Yes, that's correct. Speaking in tongues. Number eight.
Sticky.
No. Try again.
Speaker.
No. Something is short. This alphabet is short. Then it's at the end. Then pronounce this together.
Thick.
Should I help
Short
you?
stick. Short stick. Short stick.
Almost there. So it's at the end.
End
So
of
you're
the
Chop.
missing.
short stick. Short end of the stick.
Yes.
Short,
short,
Ah.
short end of the
short end
stick.
of the stick.
Yeah, correct. Number nine.
Man on board.
Almost there.
Board chairman.
No. The man is over. So
Board management,
no,
chairman,
no. The man is over the board. So what
Overboard.
does that?
Man aboard.
Overboard.
No,
Overboard.
almost there. No.
Man
The ma-
overboard.
yes, man
Oh,
overboard. The man is over the board.
uh,
Number 10.
downtown.
Downtown.
Correct. 11.
Hmm.
It's should I
It's
help? It
one.
takes
It's
It's
up. It's up to what?
no, it
it's
takes
up to three.
It
no.
takes two.
Yes, it takes two. That's the correct answer.
It takes
It
two,
takes two.
three.
Yeah,
Oh.
it takes two. What about number 12?
Balanced
Balance
meal.
meal.
Almost there.
Balance meal.
Balance meal.
Balance
Yes,
diet.
balance
Balanced
meal.
diet.
Balance meal. Sorry, balance meal. So
Okay.
what about 13?
Um,
The
uh,
bed and the
Bed and the
surrounding
bees.
bed.
The bed and the
yes,
Surrounding
bees.
bed.
yes, bed and the beds, the
The
beds
bed
and the
and the
beds.
bees.
Yes. Number
Oh,
40.
three cycles.
Tricycle.
Tricycle, rather.
Yeah. Tricycle. Well done. Number 15.
Hmm.
Getting
Put in something. Put on what?
weight.
Let me.
Put on weight.
Yes, correct. Put on weight. Number 16.
Blood is thicker than water.
Good. Blood is thicker than what? 70.
For
For
instance,
instance,
Yes.
For instance,
For
yeah.
instance, is correct.
end of an era.
Nice.
Mm,
Correct.
mm,
19.
mm, mm.
So look at it
Mm.
correctly. We have some alphabets in between the numbers.
Just
Seconds.
alphanumeric.
Safe.
Ah,
So we have safe.
Safety.
Safety.
Okay. In words. Where can you find them?
In safety in between.
No,
The verse.
in words. You can see 9, you can see 7. So
safety in
safety in
numbers.
safety in numbers.
Number. Oh,
So the
I was just trying
the last
to
one.
uh,
For bad.
equal, square,
No.
No.
For bad. No, for bad. No.
Let me see.
identical.
Okay, let me up. Grabs. You can see grabs, right? No
Yes.
one, not two, not three. So it's up for grabs. Yeah.
okay.
Up for
Oh,
grabs.
Hmm.
Oh, was that
nice.
fun?
It
Was
was
that fun?
fun.
Really, I'm
Yeah,
glad.
It was
it was.
fun.
I'm glad it was. Well done, everyone. So I want to believe we are in the mood right now. So
Yeah.
well done, everyone. So we have few housekeeping rules. Please keep your microphones muted throughout the presentation. If you have questions, kindly post them in the Q&A section. We'll have a dedicated Q&A section towards the end of the presentation. We encourage active participation while maintaining professionalism and respect for all participants. So I'll be introducing our speaker for today, Mrs. Temi Bolaji Jegede. Temi is an accomplished AI governance specialist, ISO 42001 lead implementer, and seasoned business transformation professional with over 20 years of hands on experience across the United Kingdom and Canada. Leading governance, compliance, and product delivery initiatives in complex and highly regulated environments. She partners with organizations, particularly within the health technology sector, to enable the responsible adoption of AI through a pragmatic and agile approach, helping businesses balance innovation with governance, compliance, and effective implementation. Throughout her career, Temi has successfully won multiple acts as a business analyst, product manager, and project manager, providing providing her with a unique understanding of how governance, business analysis, and technology come together to deliver value. She's equally passionate about developing people. As a mentor, she supports aspiring business analysts and product owners, helping them successfully transition into the rapidly growing field of AI governance. Temi's impressive professional credentials reflects her commitment to excellence. She's an ISO 42001 lead implementer, an ISO 13485 internal auditor, holds the ISEB diploma in business analysis, and is certified in agile product management, agile scrum master, and Prince 2 practitioner. She's also a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, a certified John Maxwell coach and trainer, and also an author. With a wealth of with a wealth of international experience, practical insights, and passion for empowering professionals, we are privileged to have her share knowledge with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mrs. Temi Olajijegede. Hi, Temi. Good afternoon. So good to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Sarome. Love the game that we played as well. Very interactive. I've never played it before, so it was quite nice to see how that turns out. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for having me here. It's I think it's going to be 2 hours, like another 1 hour, 50 minutes left. So this is going to be packed full, very interactive, as Sarome said. And thanks for the housekeeping. I was going to share a bit before we started. Just to have a feel of where people are joining from. I know this is Nigeria, right? I mean, most of you are from Nigeria, but it'd be nice to know who else is joining outside Nigeria. And if you are in Nigeria, which part of the state are you joining from? So just put it in the chat. Let's see. What states? Osun State, or your state, or just in Lagos, Ibadan? Okay, nice to have you, Vera. Who else? Kwara, beautiful. Okay. The farthest I got to Kwara was Ilorin, Ibadan. Okay, nice. Who else? Lagos. Nice distribution. Oh, London, Osaka. Where's that? US, Canada, Ogun State. I've been to Abeokuta before. All right, who else? Oh, nice. I don't know anywhere called London, Osaka, but it's fine. It's no problem. Nice to have you. So today I'll make use of your time. It has to be worthwhile. Toronto, Canada, well done. Welcome here. I'll make use of our time. It's very important. You've committed to being here, so be here. Be present, please, so that it's more productive for you. Okay, so let's get going. Today we're going to cover 4 major items. And that's, as you see on the, can you see my screen? Okay. Yes, no? It's just, let me know.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Sometimes I like to do this as well. So when I'm also, just a minute, I'm just going to expand a bit. Right, so we're going to cover 4 things in this manner, as you see. AI landscape, governance, it's the governance landscape and opportunities in the marketplace. I made it global, so you have a perspective of what's happening locally in Nigeria, but what's happening outside Nigeria as well. Okay, all good. Let's crack going. Sometimes I find it hard to work on 2 screens at the same time. All right, so please close other tabs. If you're on the computer, close other tabs. Have a pen and paper with you. Stay till the end because I have a gift for you, a surprise gift that will help you grow your personal, professional life. Participate and ask questions, or jot it down and ask at the end. In 60 minutes, I'm going to share with you 3 secrets to repositioning yourself for AI governance work, which is a lot in the market right now with your current skills, BA skills. You don't need any AI technical background. You don't need to be able to build agents at all. But with what you have, reposition it to increase your value in the organization within 30 days. It's actually, once you get out of here today, you'll be able to start repositioning yourself. I promise to deliver that today. I'm open to help two set of people, those who know nothing about AI at all. You've probably heard of, the only thing you know is ChatGPT. If you're here, I got you covered. I'm going to show you how to get into AI governance. And if you already speak the language, so whether you're building, you're working with some with some tools already, and you want to lead initiatives at a strategic level in the organization, I would also show you how to do that. And the most valuable thing you can be and present to your organization before the end of today. Okay, so we all know, we've heard it several times, that AI is here. It's come to stay. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. It's been around for a while though, but it's getting much and more notice and awareness right now, but it's been there for donkey years. I must say 15, 18 years in different names. And it's here, people are embracing it. Organizations are realizing that if they don't embrace it, they're going to run out. They're going to fizzle out. So it's disrupting our work. It's just disrupting our workflows. It's just disrupting the workplace. Some people are getting redundant, being made redundant as a result of the adoption and implementation. And that's a fear that many people are, the fear monger. It's a reality, but it also could be a fear, but it could also be an advantage for those who understand how to leverage the skills that we have. So I want to say that AI will not necessarily take your job. It's somebody who knows how to use AI that will potentially take your job. So get that. This is why we have to learn it and be able to use it and provide the value to our organization. We've talked about me already. I don't want to go into details about that. So let's move on from there. But yes, I do have up to 20 years experience in the tech world, in health tech, deep tech, across the global field and landscape. So the framework I'm going to share with you today is going to help implement AIMS. I'll tell you what AIMS is in a minute. For any startup and scale up or matured organization, I would also help you lead AI initiatives. AIMS is what we call Artificial Intelligence Management System. It's just a system an organization uses to manage their AI projects or AI products. As you know, if there is no system, things are done in different ways, are chaotic. But now that AI is gaining more grounds, they ought to build a system to manage things. Sarumi, you have a question?
Yeah, sorry about that, Timmy. Please, can you increase the volume of your speaker? We can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me. Oh, no.
Yes, thank you.
So, I've mentioned it before. Can you hear now?
Yes, it's better.
Is it like, oh, should I start again? I can.
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you.
I should carry on. Okay, that's fine. Well, thank you for letting me know. Okay, so we keep going. So as I said, AI, so AIMS is any system, like you have a life cycle for products development, you have life cycle, which is like a system for managing projects. For anything you do, you have a system or life cycle for it. Same for AI products and AI processes, you need a system. And the system is built so that if an organization is going for certification, which I'll talk about in a minute, that is what the external certifying body checks to give them the certification. In the case of AI, it's the ISO 42001. So without an AIMS, no organization can pass, right? So just to let you know. Now, many people have adopted and shipped AI products, whether it's a small agent that's deployed within the team, whether it's a big agent it's housed in the enterprise and being used by their suppliers or providers or end users. Many organizations have shipped, but they have not incorporated AI governance into the whole process. And just like I'm saying here, like, without governance, it's like driving a very fast car. Unfortunately for you, there is no rules, there is no dashboard, there's no brakes, and you're going to crash. And that's what we're beginning to see. What I'm beginning to see with my clients that have deployed AI so fast, an AI product or solution so fast without the governance, we've had to rework, which is a waste, which is a totally inefficient way of doing things. A lot of rework is happening right now in most organizations because AI governance is trying to catch up with what is already out there. This is what we want to avoid, and this is where a BA can really help the organization avoid this. I don't know whether you know about the life cycle of AI governance, but there is something called the life cycle. So we have the design stage, the development, the deployment, operations, and retirement. For some of you, this might be familiar because you already speak BA life cycle, you already you already work in software development or hardware development, so you know what life cycle is about. The same for any AI product, it goes through all that. And for each of this phase, that is the governance roadmap, I would say. Does that make sense this far? I don't want to go too fast. And any questions? Am I too fast? Am I too slow? Thumbs up if everything is okay. Thumbs down if you want me to. Okay, perfect. All right, I'll keep going. Just a minute. I won't go so much into details of this. I just want to give you an idea of what happens in the evolution and AI tech, and also the evolution of the governance evolution. So I did say that AI tech started way back. I remember when I finished my MSc close to 21 years ago, thereabouts, in 2006, sorry, is it? Yeah, 2006, 2005, in Edinburgh University. My courses were what we call multi-agent systems, agentic systems. And we were coding the systems to do some work for us. And it was all like, whoa, it was magic. You could actually literally a picture agents like ants doing something for you. It was quite nice. And I remember when I was finishing my MSc, my supervisor, a professor, said, Timmy, you have two options. Either you accept you could choose your title as MSc Informatics or MSc Artificial Intelligence. And I said, Artificial Intelligence, that doesn't make sense. And he said, because he's a researcher, academic background, he said, Timmy, I bet you in the next 10, 15 years, this is going to be a thing. And I'm looking back, I'm like, oh, I should have actually taken that MSc Artificial Intelligence because, I've been here all this while. So just for you to know that these things have existed, I mean, in the research academic area, these things have existed long ago, but now it's getting more ground because of the way it's being used. It's now being commercialized, industrialized. So it's nothing new, and it's had different flavors. Okay, so again, tech happened way before governance. In this 2020s 2025 that we're in, we're hearing things about AI governance and agentic AI governance. And that's going to be what's the projection for the next 10 years. It's going to be this agentic AI, and who knows what's going to come out after the agentic AI. Right now that we have the AI governance, well, the ISO is already there. Different nations are also putting out their frameworks and their strategies. Not all of them have done it. So you begin to see more and more of this as we go on. So it's really a new, I wouldn't say it's a new era because I said it's existed for a while, but it's becoming much more, people are getting more awareness of it. And as a result, it's creating more jobs. It's actually creating more jobs for people who can leverage the market and more opportunities for people. Okay, so who needs AI governance? Businesses, we know, that cannot adapt and will not
Hi, Timmy. So sorry about that, guys. She'll soon join back.
I'm not sure what happened there, but I think I got lost. So are you still here?
Yeah, you went off.
I'm
Can
not
you
sure
hear
what happened,
me?
but I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is a volume good enough this time
Yeah,
around?
yes, it is. But we can't
Okay.
see your screen again.
No, I'm going to share my screen just now. That's fine.
All right.
I'm going to try that. My connection seems to be okay, so you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I was talking about organizations who need AI, organizations that can adapt. If they can't adapt, they go out of market, they get run down by their competitors. For those who work within the EU, who have services within the EU, there is a fine that EU AI Act will there's a fine that EU AI Act can compel on them if they are not compliant to the act. And also, for those who are not showing compliance to the ISO standard, there is a risk in terms of the supply chain and their buyers. So some buyers would impose that their suppliers are compliant. Well, it makes sense because there's a lot within AI. If you use any AI tool, which I'm going to talk about next, if you use any AI tool and you're not putting the governance in place, there's a lot of inherent risks that are there. So the suppliers or the providers will be checking that, are we aligned? Are my suppliers aligned? Are my product providers aligned on the supply chain? So there's a lot at risk if organizations don't adapt and use it. Some of the questions, three of them that organizations that I'm working with and clients I'm working with are asking is, okay, so we are going to be adapting AI or implementing AI. Where do we start from? What is the appropriate model to use? Do we get off the shelf and build on top of that? Do we build our own, develop from the beginning, from scratch? Because people have the skills, or do we have a mixed model? What's the best one? So they ask that question. They also ask the question, how do we choose the right governance platform, which is quite interesting because you could potentially have a manual way of, I talked about the aims. You could potentially have a manual way of coordinating your processes, your documentation, and ensure things are well aligned, etc. Or you could buy a tool that does it for you. How do we choose? So that comes to choosing the tool to manage the governance. And then ask another question, where do you incorporate AI in the journey? And this is what I'm going to be talking about today as Bs, because I'm sure most of you understand the workflow or customer journey maps or data flows, etc. This is a typical AI workflow customer journey. And when you do your flow map, as a BA, you're looking for inefficiencies. You're looking for rough handshakes that are not smooth, frictions. You're looking for where to optimize, where to streamline, what is not providing value, what is a waste. If you think about it from the lean management, what is waste in here? What are we deduplicating? What are we where is the continuous running or churning of things that doesn't have value? That's how our eyes are trained to see things, right? So the same thing with AI. When you map your journey, the journey of the flow of the customer, you begin to look at where can we incorporate AI in this workflow. It might not be all the workflow, but in this sports. And then we call the AI sports 1 or 2 or 3, whatever you want to call it. But you're trained to see that. If you understand why, the first question the first understanding is how and when do we use AI, okay? Do we use AI for everything, or do we use AI for some things and not for the other things? For example, you could potentially ask yourself, or somebody says, well, we want to put, where my cursor is, we want to put an AI to do the job need identification. You ask yourself, why and what value does that provide? Okay, because we can't just put AI in everything. Some things don't require the AI to do. Some things that are repetitive could potentially benefit from becoming automated using AI. And some things that are repetitive may just be easier to do every day without using AI for it. So think you as BAs, business analysts, the value we provide is not just saying we want to use AI, but also ensuring that the use cases provide value to the business, return on investment, provides value to the customer, okay? Value to the business, value to the customer, okay? So you map the journey, identify the sports, and then ask the questions. What is the pain point? What do we want to solve? Yeah? Is that clear to everybody, or am I, any questions? Thumbs up if no questions. If there are questions, just give me a thumbs up and I'll repeat it. We explain it. I carry on. Yeah, okay, perfect. So you're understanding that. So you introduce the points and you understand the why. What is the pain point you're trying to solve? Okay. But we've identified it, and I'm not going to go into the details of the use cases and all that. That goes into the class that I provide. But we understand that if we introduce AI into this sports like this, it already comes with its risks, because we say AI inherent risk, it already comes with, there's nothing you could do about it other than to monitor, to control, to treat it, all right? So one thing we need to understand is what are the potential risks we are introducing as a result of AI. One is a data breach, which is very possible, biased decisions when we're using, in the terms of the IMM process, like HR process, security vulnerability, privacy leak, names being leaked, hallucination outputs. There are quite a few things that we need to be aware of. So it's not just about introducing that AI, it's about knowing, okay, we've introduced it, what risk does it then bring to all the workflow, either for the candidates or for the organization as a whole. Hallucination is one that that comes with any AI tool, just by the nature of it. And so the question is, from a BA perspective, who captures that and who detects it? As I said, organizations have adopted AI, they have shipped it, right? But did they capture, or did they detect, or did they provide a control for hallucination? Because it will hallucinate at some point. How do we control, how do we measure it? How do we come against or counteract the bias that comes with AI itself? And as example, as what I gave here, the example is, this person is saying, this AI tool says, after reviewing all profiles, I recommend Chad because Chad sounds like leadership material, plays golf, sounds like the kind of guy, but actual qualifications reviewed barely. So it's already biased towards Chad because of the way it sounds or the way it looks. So how do we mitigate that? Who catches that? Who writes the requirements for the bias? Who tests it? Who raises it as a potential issue? I want you to think about your process flows as I am talking and see how this can work in your real life data, real life example. We're talking about fairness, HR process, okay? A person comes in without the hijab, another person comes in with hijab. Same credentials, Same, everything same, just the face. Or sometimes the name, when we see that a lot. And you know what? This Alex is chosen because of cultural fits. Confidence is lower. It will come. How do we write the requirements when we're proposing a solution? How do we write it? Or do we write it at all? You know? Transparency requirements as well. Who documents it? So the EU AI Act, ISO 42001, and the other one says that if an organization uses AI in any way, in any solution, in any process, they should make it transparent. That is a law. That is a law. Like that is literally a law. Who brings that to the table in an organization? In an organization where there is no governance department or business function, whose role is that? Whose role is that? Who can speak it? And the way I also want you to see yourself as, you may not right now have the hat of BA governance, AI governance. The point now is to lead initiatives, right? So we lead initiatives with the way we bring value to the table, with the way we think strategically and propose either options or make things, raise issue at work. So that's the way I want you to think. You can begin to speak these languages and you see yourself moving from either middle manager to strategic, or from a level of strategy to another level of strategy. That's the whole point here, okay? Because you as a VA, you're so much needed right now. I cannot oversay that. I cannot say that. I wouldn't want to underscore that. You're needed so much. It might come out that some organizations are saying it's not a BA role, but the function, you know, which you have, the skill set which you have already, the analytical skill set, that seeing things on 10,000 feet, seeing things holistically, we have that. It's by nature, we are trained to think like that. By nature, we've been positioned and we've done this several times. So it's just natural for us to see these things and to note all these things. I want to say it in this way, though, that when we come in to bring value to the organizations or to the table, we're not trying to counter or come against or be adversary to the AI adoption. That is not the point. So the way we communicate really matters. You know, the language you use, the verbiage you use, your enthusiasm, everything matters. It's not saying, oh, we cannot do it because it has risk. No, that's not the point. We will do it. However, we should know that it comes with hallucination, risk to bias. And the question is, who does the accountability, the race side chat? Who does the monitoring? Who checks on it? Who raises the flag if they notice that in the system or in the output? You see? So that's the way we talk, and that's the value we bring to the organization. So again, we have transparency, who writes it, who sets up the controls, who monitors it. You see? Requirements, again, who documents reliability requirements, like, do we have the same result every time we use it over a period of time? Who says that? Who documents it? If you're proposing a solution, or if you are, you know, I said, what model? The question they ask, the organizations are asking is, which model should we use? COTS, build our own, or a mix? So if you're doing off the shelf and you want to check which system we should use, you want to also check out you want to also document the requirements to the supplier, like reliability requirement, they should provide the same result. You won't exactly be the same result, but relatively the same result over a period of time or forever. You have to document those things. You have to know them to be able to document them. Okay? Who owns this life cycle? Like the PDLC, we know product development life cycle is owned by the product people. We have the software development cycle. Who owns this one? For this, it's a teamwork. Each phase, design, development, etc., are owned by different people. And so you can't just say, I'm owning it, I'm going to run with it. That's too much work, unnecessary, too much work for you. You distribute the load. And as I say here, for the design phase, it could be the ethics officer, or whatever that thing is, whatever that role or function is in your organization. The development could be the engineering lead. It says data science lead now, but it could be the engineering lead. The deployment could be release engineer. You know, so you can marry these things, but it's again, bringing that to 4 so that we can have the conversation around the table. That's how you add value to your organization. They also ask, how do you demonstrate compliance and due diligence for systems? How do you want to help them with that? So many questions they're asking, and this is where you come in as a BA. How do we detect, respond, and report and learn from AI systems incidents? So if there is ever an incident, of course, everything comes through maybe the customer and into the customer service report. Who does the coordination is specifically for AI incidents? Does it go to the IT? Does it just slide there? Nobody does. Who collates all that and begins to see the trends, in these reports and these incidents? Can we even flag incidents way before they become incidents, like potential risks before they become issues? Who analyzes all that? And it might not be you as a BA, but you might raise the flag to ask the question, and then the team, the working group or whoever, organization will think about who we need to place in that position. So as I'm talking, just think through, listen to me, yeah, that's great, but also begin to think through how this comes, you can make it live in your day-to-day work, even from Monday. Now, let me tell you what makes AI governance one of the fastest growing emerging fields right now. All that, but even much more. The enterprise adoption has jumped, and this was as of 2024, but again, it's increased and literally, flying off the roof as we go into 2027, as you are in 2026, and as we go into 2027, 2028, just do your research. Everybody's adopting it. Otherwise, they go out of market. And then there is a prediction that it's going to increase in US now, GDP 21% net, meaning that even the US government is incorporated the budget to support AI adoption. Canada has done the same thing, and I know Nigeria too has their own strategy. So they are adopting, they are encouraging people to use it at that level, even though the practicality might be different. But there's a lot of encouragement, and when there's encouragement, there's budget. Okay, so that's what that means. When there's budget, there's money. When there's money, there's job employment, there's opportunity. So think about it. So everybody is for you, as it were, making it possible, making it easy for it to be adopted. Talking about the workforce, while automation is a concern, the WEF projects AI will create 97 million new jobs, which is true. Okay. Now, I want you to notice it says offsetting many roles that become obsolete. Yeah, some roles become obsolete because they need to become obsolete. But the person who knows how to use AI will be the one to take up the job. But listen to that, 97 million new jobs. I don't have the value for Nigeria, but Canada is also proposing to have like 90K new jobs between now and 2030. And so there are jobs out there, okay? So many data to show you that there is a lot of opportunities out there. And I'm going to show you how you can position yourself to leverage yourself and make use of this gold mine that we're sitting on. Okay? As of 2024, this much surge in the adoption in terms of money. And by 2023, 3.5 trillion. That is a lot. That is a lot. In North America alone, US, and I know Nigeria and US sort of use the same dollars. So you speak US language most of the time. But investment has reached 109 billion. That is a lot. And it keeps growing. Now it's a lot in defense. It's going into education, a lot of opportunities. And I know many US people reach out to Africa to get, because it's more cheaper there. So you'd also be able to use this knowledge you have if we get into AI governance, not just locally in Nigeria, but also outside of Nigeria, if you get contracts outside. So that's why you have to be very much open-minded into what's happening in other countries as well. Same, Asia Pacific, they have their own strategies, investing a lot in it, both by mouth and by money. UK, the same thing, by mouth, by money, okay? A lot and a lot more a lot more data for you to realize that things are moving very, very fast in the market. And this one is quite interesting, and I want to underline a bit that Gartner, which I love, says that by 2028, large enterprises will deploy an average of 10 governance, so risk and compliance technology solutions, rising from 8 in 2025. What does that mean? So when they need to deploy solutions, we talked about it. What do they need to do? Find the spots in the workflow, look at the value it brings to the customer, the value it brings to the business, and then either build or buy. In building or buying, here it comes to play. Requirements, check what the supplier is doing. Once it's done, they test it. Who does the testing? Who's engaged in it? I am talking about the testing because I know that the BA works, BA has a continuum of QA or very strategic. So when we talk BA, I've also put into that the QA person. Sometimes you have them doing such work, and then you also have the strategy. But who does that? It's all BA. BA is business analysis is the thing that will help organizations to thrive in this situation. When it comes to looking for platforms, governance platforms, organizations, the thing that they will really look out for, like, these are the things they look out for. So literally, if your organization is going to get a tool, you already know that you should be looking for a tool that has a comprehensive and centralized AI inventory, which I will cover a little bit there. As frameworks are aligned to ISO and EU AI Act, and also the NIST is for America, majorly in America. It has a data usage mapping. It has these are the requirements to write in. You can begin to speak that language. When we want to move in our career, we begin to speak the language of the career that we want to go to. Once you begin to speak the language, people recognize you as a thought leader. They recognize you as a subject matter expert. They begin to come to you and seek your information, seek advice from you, or get you to lead initiatives. This is how you can leverage what you're learning now and increase and grow your career. Okay? Now, when the growth goes up, everybody becomes a unicorn. So everybody here, I think 20 of you or so, can be unicorns. Just check the number. Can be unicorns, 39. You all can be unicorns by leveraging AI. And it's relatively new. Like, this field is relatively new in the marketplace. So there is no like, oh, I have 35 years of experience. There's nothing like that. 10 years of experience in AI governance. No, they probably don't. They're probably lying. You know, except they have been in the academic and they've done research like my professor did, my supervisor did, he's also a professor. But no, if they're in the marketplace, like we're all in the marketplace, then we're all new, quote unquote, all new, okay? ChatGPT, I think, was released in 2023, so up until now. So the most experience is probably 3 years experience as builders, as engineers, not governance. All right, so we just covered the AI landscape. I'm going to move on to the governance landscape. But before I move on to ask a question, anybody has any questions now, or should I continue? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Continue, pause. 1, 2. Okay, perfect. I continue. So let's talk about the landscape. Right now, this is a little bit like few weeks old, I must say. And this goes to show how fluid governance is right now, how fast evolving it is. So as of this few weeks old, because just recently Canada did its own strategy. Okay, so it gives an idea. You can begin to learn about the landscape, and so much information out there, to be honest. You can begin to learn about the information, the landscape, regulatory landscape. But just so you know that China, Russia, they are sector-based, depending on the domain. So education, defense, etc. They have theirs. They also have state laws, which is quite different. EU currently, EU AI Act is enforced. Some of the sections are enforced. Some of them will be enforced by December 2027, and some are just being rolled out. Okay, so just for you to know, there's nothing else to do here. keep listening to news, join regulatory newsletters or so, and then you get yourself up to date. But what is driving the demand right now, I alluded to that a while back, and I'm just going to say it again, is a regulatory action. So for example, EUA had to fine you up to 7% of your revenue, I think it is, which is a lot of money, up to 32, depending on which is higher, 32 million or 7% of your revenue, and it could be higher. So regulatory action is driving many of the job roles you see now. If you go on LinkedIn, most especially LinkedIn, and you check AI governance officer, AI governance manager, and I'll show you some, I think I have some data to show you there. You see a lot more in the US, and you see a lot in the EU area. So not just UK, EU area, because of this EUA Act, okay? And then because of the supply chain, selling to enterprises, this is enabling a lot of enterprises. One of the organizations I worked with, which they haven't adopted AI, Tangential, they have another one. One of the organizations I'm working with has a supplier. And this supplier is ISO 27001 certified. And this supplier is saying that most people that they supply to question them that if they don't have ISO 42001, which is AI, they will stop buying from them. So I got to know because they provide to us, and I got to have that. I was privy to have that information. So this is what is happening. It feels like little right now, but as we go along, many organizations who are not compliant, and they use AI, because if you don't use AI, you don't need to be compliant to this, to the ISO or to anything. But if you're using it, you're likely to be asked that, can you show compliance? Can you show your governance? If you can't, then lose sales. So there is a lot more. And they have the legal exposure, which it could be internal or external. So there is a lot of drive. So it comes with its own drive. It comes with its own triggers and motivations, which we can't do much about, but we can leverage it. And that's the point here. We want to leverage what's out there as entrepreneurs or consultants or career people. Now, AI has its own problems, inherent problems. I talked about emerging risks as well. But governance is the solution. And sometimes people feel governance is like, oh, loads of documentation. Oh, we have to write and write. Well, you have to write policies and procedures and draft stuff. But it's not just about writing. It's about putting these things in place. So it's actually effective, it's not a checkbox exercise, checklist. Yes. No, it's like, can you show evidence that you have awareness? Can you show evidence that there are phase gates between, I told you about the life cycle. Do you have phase gates? Can you show the evidence? How can you prove it? If somebody asks you before you deploy the AI into the organization, did you do your risk analysis? Say we have a risk analysis policy. Okay, fine, but did you actually do it? Did you actually ask the question? So this is a project manager might wear, or a release engineer might wear, depending on how your organization is set up. But it is also what a BA can initiate, so we don't miss out on that. Once you know it, you cannot unknow it. Once you've learned it, you cannot unlearn it. All right, so AI governance can be implemented in many ways. One is for the 2001, which is this ISO standard. And I'll come back to that in a bit. One is the EU AI Act 2024. I'll come back. That's NIST. And the last one is also Canada has its own, Nigeria has its own, and this one is the Nigerian one. Almost all the other frameworks, whether it's Canada or Nigeria or Hong Kong or wherever it comes from, takes their feed from this guy, ISO. It is the standard. It is the law, that is it. So once you understand this, you don't need to be certified, but once you understand and can interpret, and you can literally use this to help any other organization achieve their goal when it comes to governance. So let's go into this a little bit. It's pretty, in terms of the volume of the book itself, or the standard, it's not a lot, and it breaks things down into different pieces. So you have the aims, which covers the 15 pages, which is the aims, and they have controls and implementation guidance. And I like any ISO, they give you a guide on how to implement, but give you some leeway to customize it according to the skill and the maturity of your organization. So in terms of a startup, like maybe 10, less than 10 people, or say 10 to 20 people, the way you implement a AI aims will be very different from an organization that has about 300 employees. Okay, so there is a leeway on of proportionality is the word that is used, but it's good for you to know how it works generally. Okay, again, I won't go into the details of this, but this is what it contains. And for the AI Act 2024, it looks at systems and responds to it from the risk level. So there is what we call systems that have high risk. So for example, unacceptable risk is banned. Like you don't use an AI for that at all. You don't even talk about it. We can't. So systems that are high risk, we could use AI, but we need to comply with your obligations. For example, transportation, safety components. If you use any AI tool in the medical world, well, medical world is actually very, very stringent. Actually, they have their own standard AI, standard ISO. But even if you use AI in any of the tools or components, this is like significant risk. And the way you respond, the way you treat that risk is different from a minimal or low risk or free use. So one of the things, I want to talk about the limited risk right now. One of the things that EUA's AI Act says is that if you produce content with AI, anything with AI, you've got to be able to, you must, this one's a must, you must label the content so that people know. That's transparency. Now that you must do thing is being enforced by August 2027. So many organizations right now are hiring and looking for people who can help them implement watermarks. And it's not just the watermark of open Word document had watermark, and there's a lot more like video editing. Many of them are trying to ensure they can put AI watermark there. If you go onto LinkedIn, say you created, LinkedIn got this way earlier on. If you go onto LinkedIn, you've created an image on any AI tool, say ChatGPT, and you put the image on your content or your post on LinkedIn, you would notice that it has a mark, say CR or GR or something, AI generated. Okay, that is transparency. That's one of the ways you could implement the transparency solution for your mitigation for your solution. So many organizations are looking for that, but you could also go back to, you could take a step back to say, oh, okay, so how do we know in which workflow are AI, in which workflow is AI used to create content or image or documents? You map out, you go back to the first, you map out the workflow, identify the AI sports that's being used, and then look at the solution. So for this particular video editing in this process, we've got to create the watermark or the transparency solution. For another sport, you got to create it. So if you don't have that workflow, where do you start from? Again, a BA does the workflow, isn't it? Understand it, they get the requirements, they work it out, or they do the interviews and they work out, they draw it out, and people see where the risks are in that workflow. Again, a BA does that role. So there's so much value you bring to the organization. This I'm not going to talk about it, but again, this one NIST looks at it from, it's called AI risk framework, management framework. It looks at it from the risk level and tells you what to do and what not to do. One of it is the accountability, who's accountable, which we talked about for ISO, who's accountable for a particular thing, who's accountable for the policy, drafting of AI policy, who's accountable to identify the risk, who's accountable, who's responsible. So you do your RSI for each thing that we've identified, again, telling you that this is where you stand out, this is the value you bring to your organization. Now, this is taken from Nigeria's AI strategy. If you don't have it yet, I think you should read it. You should familiarize yourself with it. It's important because it's local. Okay, it's local. If you want to become a leader in that area, you got to know what it says, and you should be able to put yourself in the position where people see you as someone who's leading that initiative. I'm just going to highlight a few things that I read there, so that you can be aware. It's online, it's free. So if you Google Nigerian AI system strategy, you will see it. It says that there is a need, I'm just reading it. It says that there's a need for responsible and ethical AI in practice. Fairness, transparency, accountability, privacy, human well-being, responsible data governance, okay? If you take those words, I think there are like 7. If you take those words and you begin to use them in your conversations at work for organizations that are already using AI or about to use AI, you see the value you already bring, okay? You see the value you already bring. So think about it. Fairness, we talked about it earlier on. Transparency, accountability, privacy, human well-being, responsible data governance. Any AI initiative relies on data. So it's like you're building a house. You got to set the foundation before you put all the beams and the banners and the roofing. The roofing and on all these nice fancy things is AI, but the foundation is data. So if your data is bad, if it's shitty, sorry, your AI is going to escalate all your problems. It's going to make it worse. So you actually go down to where is the data coming from? How's the data flowing? Do we have good data glossary, data dictionary, etc., data flow mapping first, and then you can then identify where AI can be used. Some of the things that we also BAs in Nigerian context right now, according to the strategy, one of the things that we must manage is accuracy according to your strategy, bias, transparency, governance. It says that alone. And it says that also, and it says that it cannot be taken, so this AI strategy cannot be taken in isolation. It needs to be reviewed, which makes sense, reviewed with your NDP, which is the National Data Privacy Act, and cybersecurity. Okay, so you tend to see most organizations talk about GRC, and many may also put AI within GRC, so governance, risk, compliance. Many organizations might put AI in that GRC, but AI has its own specific verbiage. So transparency, fairness, bias. It has its own verbiage, which stands out on its own. And I'm going to show you what I'm seeing in Nigerian job market. So I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, this is important for you to, I want to stress it again, important for you to know, familiarize yourself with it so that you can speak that language and be more valuable in your organizations. Okay, so we've talked about the landscape and we've talked about the governance landscape. Now I want to show you the opportunities that there are. I've said it again. AI governance is creating new type of work for BAs who can retranslate the regulation. And BAs are good at translating things. We are very good at that. I started my career as a BA. Risk policy, you can read, understand, and translate it. You can synthesize and analyze it into real business and product requirements. We are very good at this, right? Functional requirements and governance requirements, technical requirements, non-technical requirements. We can do that. And you know what? AI can also help you draft some requirements. But they're looking for people who can read, understand, and translate, and then advise and carry out options appraisals for systems. Whether if it's a off-the-shelf system, they need somebody that can do options appraisals. And I've done, before AI came into it became a thing like this. This is what I did as a BE. I was in the LTech, and I'll take a regulation of strategy from the government that they've just pulled out. We'll take it out and break it down to requirements, break it down into how a technical person, the engineers or developers can see and translate and write the SQL language or whatever the jobs and everything they need to do. And then I'll do the test and write the TDD test cases, and then I'll do the testing, and then I'll roll out. In fact, I got to a point where we roll out and also do the part of the training for rolling out, and I do the business benefits requirement afterwards. So we have the skill sets to do all this already. And we don't have to be able to build models to do that. We don't have to be able to build agents for that. Okay? That is a gap. My question to you is, are you really ready to bridge that gap for people, for your organizations? Are you really ready, or are you still thinking about it? So if you're ready, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. If you're not ready, put 2 in the chat. Okay, let's check. Are you ready to bridge the gap? One. Okay, perfect. You're ready. I like that. You're ready to, okay, let's carry on. Thanks for that. There's a lot of opportunities, I tell you. There's a lot across continents. And I'm saying, I know this is Nigeria based, but I needed to see what's happening in the world, because Africa, I mean, from here, you know, what people say, when in the West, what people say about Africa continent is, oh, very good skills. You know, you get things, they say it's cheaper for them compared to if they get the labor from the West part. So it's important for you to know, yes, know what's happening in the local environment, but know what's happening in the global environment as well. So you can position yourselves internationally. Everything is ubiquitous now. You can work from anywhere. You have a computer, you have internet, you keep working, right? So if you can stay in Nigeria and earn US dollars because you know the NIST framework, why not? You know, if you can stay in Nigeria and work in Canada with the Canada government or Canada organization because you speak the language of AI for all strategy and ISO 42001, why not? You see, so yes, I'm broadening your perspective here, okay? So it's a really natural next step for BAs. I see, and I said product owners, because some organizations, so PO, as you know, on the book, product owner on the book is not a job title, even though you see POs as job titles and stuff, that it's a role. And BAs perform that role really nicely and really well. So I put BAs and POs in there. So it's not, so you if a PO, you understand that you can actually do this work, okay? And I've checked some AI governance rules for BAs in Nigeria. What I see is it isn't specifically called out, unlike other places that I'm checking, like other in the EU or Canada or US. It's not specifically called out like AI governance. It says either AI/data governance manager, risk and compliance. I said it. Some would bundle it up into GRC. Yeah, but we do have product manager, product owner for AI products. Okay, so these are the kind of things I saw when I checked on ChatGPT. Did this for me actually. And this is a likely Nigerian salary range. I don't live in Nigeria. I don't know how much is it. I'm not sure. I didn't validate this data, but I mean, Toko, you could talk question I'm talking to you. You might just check and see whether it's true or not. But again, it's just to show that there is a market. It's growing in Nigeria. It's not as much as other places. It's growing. And as I talked about the unicorn, the early adopters will win the game. This thing is about what I've seen in my career is if you are an early entrant, you get more. I think that's just how life is. So the point is to position yourself before it becomes common. Be there and lead as much as you can. Now, for each of these job family, this is a way the job requirements, the summary of the job requirements is for the data governance manager, they want someone who can own the policy, controls, data lineage, which is like data mapping, the evidence and governance procedures. For the PMPO, translates governance into requirements. So before AI, right, we bring our problems as products. We bring our problems to the engineering people and we say, we have a problem, resolve it. Now we can even be more technical to say, we have a problem, we think AI will solve it, but these are the requirements of the AI. For example, after you've deployed the solution, check that it has fairness and control. It has bias, there's a bias testing. You have to supply the PO or the PM can write those requirements down as definition of done, right? We know what that is. Definition of done is it's done this and this and that. So as a BA, when you're making proposals, because we don't provide solutions, when we propose solutions, when we are proposing solutions, we are also writing those governance into this. So it's not just about functional, non-functional, and other things. It's also about AI, if it's an AI tool, AI governance requirements, okay? We get that. So I just want you to begin to see how that can happen in your world and how you can bring that into your organizations. But there is a lot of money. I mean, I think there's a range, and you could always have, you could also be an e-consultant in this. Again, governance roles, I did a bit more, and I went to the sectors, good sectors in Nigeria, fintech, banks, LTech, and telecoms. In the NAIS, the Nigerian AI strategy, it talks a lot about startups. So obviously, if they have a strategy, they have money, I suppose so. That means they have budget to support startups. They talked about health. I remember this was startup scale-ups and LTech. So again, if you're looking to transition job kind of a thing, you also want to look into NAIS, then look at which areas are likely going to adopt as early or early on, and position yourself for those organizations, either consulting or full-time job. But yeah, you could see all this: fintech, startups, LTech, SaaS, software as a service. There's so many things as services right now. I hope it's opening your, I mean, if you're tracking with me, say yes. If you're not tracking, say no. So tracking, yes, you're tracking with me, or you're totally lost, say no. Let's check. Okay, I got one thumbs up from Salome. Okay, Cynthia, thank you. Her house is, if this is over your head. Okay, just 3 yeses. Okay, Fikayo. Okay, who else? Over your head or good enough? All right, so let's keep going. Almost there. Globally, so we should know this. Globally, a AIBA, there's something like that now. What you do, you're focusing on requirement, process mapping, risk controls. You do that. You just add a layer of AI into it. There's AI business analyst, so gap analysis, which that's one of the things I enjoy so much in BA. To be an assist, I love it. To be an assist, I love it so much. So you do the to be, you know what the end world should be like, and then you map, and then you give them the assessment. I mean, if you are a consultant, also as a BA, you do the gap analysis. If you wear the hat of a consultant, you don't only do the gap analysis, you also feel you bridge the gap by actually providing the solution to close the gap, isn't it? See? I mean, so much opportunities, people. Compliance business analysts, that you're looking at it from how are we compliant? The question you're trying to answer, they want you to answer for them, is how are we compliant to EU AI or to ISO or to regulatory requirements? Once you understand what the regulatory requirements are, you do your gap analysis first. And how do you do gap analysis? You do your interviews, you do the workflow, you know what the end world should be, end state should be. You map out your gap and propose the solution, this is what you do normally. This is what you do every day. So why not do it in AI, right? Why not leverage AI for this as well? Okay, so that's about it. But I want to help you. I'm really, really here to help you. I want to help you for many reasons, because I am also, if you don't know, I'm a Nigerian. Even if you have not done any governance work before, compliance work before, it's okay. This field is really new, so there's no 10 years worth of experience from anybody. Everybody's new here. You don't need, though, a 42,001 certification for this. You can get it, but you really don't need it. As I said, many frameworks and strategies feeds from ISO 42001. So that's a standard we're working towards. And the good news is that you only need to understand the requirements to incorporate it into your flow. So your artifacts, functional requirement documentations, your PRDs, your user stories, some people call it jobs to be done, your gap analysis, your features, epics, risk controls. all the things that we do, that we produce as BAs and POs, you only need to ensure that the requirements fit into it at each level that's going through it. And I provide a boot camp that really does this for you. It helps you. It's very practical, very immersive. You have homeworks, you come back when you present your works. This is very focused learning and simulation of ISO framework under 30 days in 40 weeks. I do it in 40 weeks. And there is so much good that people have, so much success stories I've had from that. And I tell you, it is the fastest way to become an AI BA or AI GRC, depending on how you call it or want to call it. It is the fastest way to become AI BA or AI PO or AI PM, right? Now, I said there are 3 secrets when I started that I want to debunk. So the first one is people feel that they need to be very, very technical, like build agents, use Claude and then ChatGPT and then Fable and then all the models. I mean, know all the models even within Claude or all the models within the OpenAI. This is a lot. And in fact, I feel that for each day, new models are coming out. There's no development. So you really can't know all. We can't know all the agents, and you can't know all the models, you can't know all the tools, you can know 1 or 2, but even if you don't, it's okay. You don't need to be technical. It's about governance. Here is about risks, policies, procedures, not building agents. And BAs are very process oriented. We are born like that. We're just natural. We're natural when it comes to processes. This is where this fits for you. I don't have enough expertise or experience to pivot. It's really new. It's a green field. So you don't need 10%, or sorry, 10 years, 5 years experience. No, everybody's new. It's just a step-by-step process. We follow it through. And I know people say, I learn it on my own. I go on YouTube, use Udemy or Coursera, or my company will pay for me. Now, I just finished a course of my bootcamp. And one person was saying in there that, oh, I love your bootcamp because it's unlike the courses on Udemy or Coursera, of course, because this is live, that they have homeworks, they come in to deliver, we get feedback right there and there, they go back and, re-implement or adapt their learnings. So free content is more for awareness. Courses are very theoretical. Waiting for your employer is the most expensive decision you could ever make. But what if they don't give you the money? What do? You do nothing? No. So the whole goal is to come into a course that's very immersive, that can help you accelerate your earning. And we have accountability partners around us as well. Like I said, you don't need to know how to build agents. You don't need to be technical. You don't need to have done governance before. You've seen governance is a process. And the early entrants, the winners will take it first. Honestly, that's the way it works in this part of the world. And I'm just going to show you that in 2005, something cybersecurity came out, and people were talking about cybersecurity. What was that? Cybersecurity. Cybersecurity. What was that? So it was new terminologies. It was not known, but I knew people who went into it. Like we roll up our sleeves and go into there. Let's start experimenting. Let's start learning. And people were coming together, like we call them think tanks, coming together to learn from each other and rub minds together. And there were no standard certifications at that point in time, but we knew there was risk with cyber. Being on internet, there was a risk, privacy, hackers, all those things. Then pen testing became a thing, penetration testing became a thing. All sort of things that were fake, deep fakes. So now we have deep fakes, but we had it also there where people can just hack into your email, and then impersonation, that's the word, isn't it? But people needed to be able to identify that and do something about it, because the hackers were really getting a lot of money. Like, it was siphoning money a lot from either the employees or the organizations. So cybersecurity became a thing, and early movers became CISOs and VPs within a short time. GDPR, more for the EU now, also became a thing in 2018. When it came out, people didn't know about it. So for me, then I was in data, very much in the data, involved in data. So I went into it because I love everything data. I went into understand what does that mean. We need to protect our data. We need to write policies. We need to ensure every flow is mapped out, where it's coming from, where it's going to, what's being used for, which system it sits on. At the system to there, data retention policy. If you're going to keep it for more than 10 years or so, you need to have something. If you're going to scrap the data, there's so many things going on there. Again, it was new, right? But people got in there, became DPUs at that time. DPUs, and they're getting their money. I leveraged, I didn't leverage 2005, I leveraged 2018. And now there's AI governance, okay, which like started 2025, I would say. And not a lot of people are there. And some people will say they are there, they don't really know the details of it. What am I trying to say? That if you are an early mover, you will define the field. You will define the field for your organization. You'll become a thought leader. You become an authority. You will lead initiatives. You can become consultants. If you take hold of, if you embrace AI governance now, I tell you, by 2030, you'll be in a different world. All right, so moving on. So you are the solution. I can assure you, you are the solution. There is a window of opportunity right now for the early entrants. So you can become a unicorn ASAP. Let's keep going. People will have two choices. They can say or do, learn it by myself, learn it on my own, or I can go together with you. And so I will speak to people who want to go together with me by introducing the AI Governance Bootcamp. And it is especially for you as a BA who wants to reposition themselves for the demands to provide value. So value, innovation, and compliance. Honestly, as a BA, if you don't know how to create a site with an AI tool like Make and Lovable, I can train you within less than 4 hours to create a site. This is how good AI is. Okay, this is how good. And let me ask a question. Have you created, with an AI tool, have you created any website before with an AI tool? If it's yes, put a 1. If it's no, put a 2. Have you created any, with an AI tool, created any website? In the chat, please. Vibe coding, okay. 111. Okay, that's good. So for Shegun, you won't believe it. If you just type in Olapeju, oh, Peju, oh, my dear sister, so nice to, thank you for being here. Can't wait to have a conversation with you. Perfect. Mutia, lovable, yes. Neo, you said 5. I don't know where 5 is coming from. If it's created a website with an AI tool, type a 1. If it's a no, type a 2. Okay, good. So for the people that said yes and yes vibe coding, how did you find the experience? Especially if you were never able to create a website before, you had to go through HTML and all those Python stuff. How did you find the experience? If it's easy compared to not being able to do it before, type E. If it was difficult, like you're like, ooh, this is really, really over my head, type a D. So if it's easy compared to not being able to create before, type a E. Easy, yeah. Seriously. So Kike Lomo, Olapeju, Harriet, Shegun, Ether, you've typed 2. I really want you to, go onto lovable.com and create something. Like, think about a website that you like, what the website is solving or selling, mimic it and create it. The prompts are pretty easy. And I'm saying that because I've used it a lot of times, so I remember I shouldn't say they're easy. But, the learning curve is really, really low, right? We're talking about innovation. So if you can churn up a website within 4 hours, less than 4 hours, think about other products that you could potentially use AI for. Your goal as a BA is to reposition yourself for that AI governance demands. Very important. You're not stopping your BA work. You're just adding a layer of AI into it. So you become AI BA. If there's a word like that in Nigeria, the goal is to provide value quickly innovation and compliance to your organization. So this is what I really want to help you do, help you to achieve. Now, before AI mastery, this is how things will be. Red tapes everywhere. The projects are chaotic because nobody knows what they're doing. I'm saying that. I'm hearing that. And you are just here. This is you. Like, no, we want to move you here where you are the one leading, where you are the one initiating. Okay. And it is possible. I've helped many people move here. So it's possible. Within 4 weeks, you can be this. I can tell you. I can assure you of that. You become the champion, you become the leader, guided workflows. Nothing else is changing other than looking at it from the AI risks, right? Bringing those vocabulary, bringing the perspective into it, having maybe a few more documentation, a few more processes, but you can still provide, you can be the one to lead it, you can be the one to champion it. So you're not providing extra work for other people. Okay, moving on. So talking about the bootcamp itself, we go through the boundaries of AI systems. We identify the risks, inherent risks, as it were. We establish the accountability, which you might call it the risk high, and then we implement the guardrails. I broke it down into 4 things. It's deeper than that, but for you to know. And this is what you get. You get up to 62 templates and checklists that you could apply in any real this is real cases that you can apply in any use case at all. You're able to help the organization speed up the AIMS implementation. Now, let me talk a bit on that again. I mentioned that some of them may not want to be ISO 42001 certified, so they might say, what is the point of AIMS? The question, the way you explain that to them is a change management kind of program. And it's not just about the certification, it's about we are using AI. AI comes with its own risk. We got to be able to capture and analyze, identify, treat the risks. When you talk to any organization like that, they get it. Most organizations are here for something to cut costs, reduce cost, increase revenue, reduce risk. So when you frame all your conversation, your verbiage in those lines, they will understand you, they'll be open to hear you. You get these checklists. You get an example of a project breakdown, especially for people leading towards PMs. I know for example, I once worked as a PMBA because they got me, 2 for the price of 1 kind of a thing. A startup didn't have a lot of money. So I had the heart of a PM, project manager, and had the heart of a BA. It was a lot of work. But if you find yourself in that area, in that opportunity, you shouldn't say no. We will help you. You have a project breakdown plan that you can work with. Timelines, I'm just basically telling you that you get a lot of help if you want to go in that line. You get a case study of several in finance, in LTech, in manufacturing, construction, education. You get work studies of what's happening, how people have implemented governance, which you can leverage on if you find yourself in any of those industries. For example, this is an example, okay? But let me skip on that. You also get more in terms of AI risk management itself, which is an ISO standard. This also is another ISO standard. You get summary of everything. You get a summary of this. You get more on the EEA Act. Again, it's broadening your perspective. Look at it as broadening your tool set. So, for example, if you want to gather requirements, you could actually do one-to-one interviews, you could do focus groups, you could do workshops, and I forgot the other things that you could do. So there's like 4 or 5 things to gather requirements. This is the same. You have your tool set. You want to broaden your tool set so you can know the right verbiage to use, the right vocabulary to use, and it feels a lot, but the boot comes within 4 weeks, you will get all this. Okay, so we pick a case study or use your organization. Usually I tell people to use what they're working on right now. So it's live to them. We draw the project activities, we complete each activity, you present in class, you get feedback from myself and other people around you. A lot of learning, cross-learning on there, and we answer your Q&As, okay? So let me give you this example, which is very LTech based, but I'll use it, okay? I'm checking. You still tracking with me? Say T. If you're not tracking, say type N on the chat. You're tracking with me, T, okay? What else? Just two responses, so the other people are not. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. It also gives me time to catch up on my breath. So an LTech startup provides a patient triage service for a dental CSO, a dental organization. Triage service is when you walk into a dental organization and we need to know how bad maybe it's my molar or something is decay, whatever it is. They want to triage how bad it is, whether it's to go for emergency procedure or not, something like that. Triage. The company has a formal AI governance program. You are the consultant or you are the BA, you have been hired to lead the initiative. Your first task is to implement TriPath, just give it a name, 1.0. Step 1, you understand and define the context, and I'll tell you what that is in a bit. Step 2, you do the gap analysis. We know, right? What is the sees, what is to be. We conduct our RSI, we do our RSI, we propose, implement solutions. BAs propose solutions. If you're technical engineering, you implement the solutions. And then you set up a periodic reviews. Basically like that. Each step is then broken down into other steps, but gives you an idea, okay? So understand and define the context. If we go back to what I said, the startup provides a triage service for a CSO. The company has a formal governance program, and you have been brought about to resolve it. This guy is saying, we want to have a governance program here. How do you help us? These are the steps to follow. The first question is, what law applies to us? ISO or EU? Whichever one. Take the policies have clauses, okay? Just like any policy document, you have clauses. So take the clauses and say, which clause applies to us right now? Because it's health, it's high risk system. Imagine if I go in and I have decays or something, and I'm okay, inflammations, and it's just swelling, I cannot eat, and etc. And this tool says, when last did you eat? Maybe I said I had 2 minutes ago. You did not ask me what did I eat 2 minutes ago, and I probably just sipped water. And it takes this AI tool takes it that, oh, she's still eating, she's fine. If she wasn't eating at all, then oh, this is broken. So she said, oh, AI tool will tell me it's okay. Come back next week. So I go back next week. I go back next week, and within a week, it's worse off. I can actually sue them because I was there, and the system said I was okay. I wasn't okay. You know, I could sue them. They could be fined. So you want to check what risk level is this process that we're talking about. It is high risk because it has to do with the patient, and it could cost me harm. It could cost me damage, and it could be irreparable. Because if there is more decay, then they're probably going to remove all the teeth now, and I'm going to have fake teeth. If they sorted me out a week before, maybe they just put some treatment there and my teeth is fine. See, this is what we're talking about. AI governance. It's that much. Okay, and you are best placed to do these things. Okay, now we talk about it's high risk. What are the articles or clauses that apply, and who are the stakeholders? That's one thing you do. Of course, you identify the stakeholders. We know stakeholder management, stakeholder mapping, high power, high influence thing is applies to this as well. It doesn't change what you do. And capture the current assets and to be. So what is currently used? It's not even documented. Too bad. That's a gap. How do we triage? Triage decision checked by medical team is ad hoc. Okay, so right now, they don't even know how it's not yet an AI tool, but you know, mapping the workflow. So who checks them normally? Is it the dental assistant? Is it dentalologist? Who actually does the work? We don't know. It's not mapped. And to be nice is something used, I think, in the UK and Nigeria. Map to the nice guy. So you identify your assets as a to be, you work out your gap, and then as a BA consultant, depending on how you wear, you could actually implement the actions. So once you identify what actions are missing, you implement them. Same thing here. You say one is one is critical, so you know which one to implement for this, depending on the team, the level of the team. But do you already see you doing something like this? If you see yourself doing something like this, I want you to put a yes in the chat. If you think you haven't done this and it's new to you, put an N in the chat. So the yes, you see yourself doing it. It's the normal BA process. Put an N. Put a yes. Fikayo is a no. Okay. Fikayo, are you new in business analysis? Okay, that's fine. Oh, you're new in business analysis. Okay. Well, I think you're in the right place. Omawumi, are you new in business analysis as well? Omawumi. Oh, okay. Oh, well, BA is such a beautiful role. I love the skill. I love I love the job. Call it the job. I love the job, and it just helps the way it changes your. I don't think it changes because you, as a BA, you have to be analytical and process oriented. So if you're naturally like that, it just brings that. It brings it more, and I love it. I love everything BA. So you're in the right place. I'm sure your IBA president will help you and guide you for your growth. But yes, indeed, let's carry on. Capture the current as is and to be, and then do your ownership and reside. Why do we need reside? We know, because if nobody owns anything, nothing gets done. If nobody is accountable to it, you cannot hold anybody accountable to the quality of the completion. Nothing gets done. Nobody gets fined. It doesn't just work. We already know that even in our projects that are not AI related, we need resides, right? Who's doing it? Who's doing the work? If the work is not done, who goes to jail? If something is done badly, who goes to jail? Kind of a thing. So you understand the action, the owner, the assets, what they need, artifact assets, how long it's going to take, you monitor the progress. If you have a project person on board, they might track the timeline to do etc. But if you have that combination in your role, this is what you do. Okay, so that's a step 3. And then your step 4, you begin to propose a solution. Do we want to build our home? Do you want to, off the shelf? And the benefit, cost benefit analysis that you're aware of as BAs, you present that to the organization, and hopefully they will say yes or no. The BA process. When it comes to implementing solutions, this is where the requirements comes in. So requirement 1, depending on how you identify your requirements, is explainability. So for every trade decision, system must explain a reason. So why, in my case, why is it telling me I should go back home, come back in a week when I am in pain? It's going to say because you said you had yesterday. So we said that I had yesterday, I had like an hour ago. Maybe I can then provide more context. Oh, I actually did not. I only drank and maybe sipped water because it was painful. This is how to catch incidents from happening, real life incidents from happening, or harm happening to the client or to the user. So explainability is a requirement to write into the system so that the supplier caters for that. Robustness, system must not provide data that have offensive language. I know some AI tools. An AI tool did that a while back and it just went rogue. Again, you want to ensure that is written. And then when the system is deployed, you want to test against this criteria. This is where your TDD comes in, right? Test-driven cases, where you want to test against them and see the results so we can validate and verify and validate. Transparency and reliability. Okay. Step 5, in terms of the governance itself, now you want to set up a register. You want to set up how to monitor continually these things we talked about. I didn't mention what we call model drift, but that's one of the inherent risks of any AI tool. So want to set up a monitoring committee for that. Maybe one person, maybe a few people, and not just to monitor, also to analyze and to discuss things. If You also want to set up this committee that will check the value, if there is value in the AI tool. AI tools are very expensive to create and to maintain. To be honest, it's really expensive. So you want to check whether there's still good return on investment. And if there is none, you want to decommission. So all that you set up. Schedule periodic reviews, document all processes. You document all processes so that if your auditor comes in, you can show them. Auditor wants to see document processes and the evidence that those processes are effective. Right, so if you joined this bootcamp, you come out with a lot of things and much more, like things I've written here. And when you go for the job interview, you're not just saying, I have 1 or 2 years of experience. You can say, I will show you, and you walk them through a use case, whether your live use case or a particular use case, and walk them through every journey and the evidence. And you can be very proud of yourself and very confident of yourself because you've done it. Now, there are organizations that provide certificates, and there are some that don't. As is new, there is nothing like, oh, we have to go for a particular organization to provide a certification, etc. That's not the point. Because you could study and retain, you could study and do a certification, you could pass tests that are also AI driven, most likely. You could do all that, but there's a difference between getting the certificate and also actually doing the work. And what organizations are looking for as the knowledge of doing the work. I mean, I had an interview with somebody the other day, and a few people there, and we could clearly see somebody who's done the work and someone who just was speaking it. Very, very, you could see. So the confidence comes in when you actually done the work. You can be proud of yourself, of course. People like certificates, but focus more on the practical learning. So you are confident in yourself. You don't sound like a fraud or like imposter syndrome. Okay. So my question, I'm going to ask you 3 questions or thereabouts, and then we will carry on to the next things. The first question is, do you want to, I did ask are you ready to bridge? But I'm going to ask in another way. Do you want to reposition for AI governance and stay relevant during the disruption? Because there is a lot of disruption. Do you want to reposition yourself for AI governance and stay relevant during this AI disruption? If it is a yes, I want you to type yes in the chat, and I'm going to wait for you all to type it. You have about 34 people. Okay, you want to stay relevant and reposition yourself? Yes, Ariette, okay. Just Ariette, okay. Sarome, okay. Fikaya, Latifa, okay. You want to reposition yourself, so just 5 people. The rest are happy where they are. It's okay. It's okay to be happy where you are, That page you, all right. Let me count. Just a handful of you, like 1% of the people here. All right. The other question is, let's keep going. Do you want to leverage the early entrant advantage? Because once it gets crowded, there is no, it's like monopoly, right? Economics. Once it gets crowded, there isn't, nothing differentiates you. Everybody can speak it. So what? Like BAs now, a lot more BAs now than there was many, many years ago. So what makes it different? Do you want to leverage the early entrant advantage and lead AI initiatives at work? I'm assuming that's a yes from all of you that said yes previously, right? If that's a yes, thumbs up. Thumbs up if that's a yes. If it's a no, it's okay. Just put the thumbs down. Perfect. And then the last question is, would you be willing, though, to immerse yourself in the boot camp and get a portfolio that you can show and tell? This is where the work is. Would you be willing to immerse yourself? Yes or no? And then I'll share you my surprise gift. Yes. Oh, sorry, just you. Okay. Ariette Takano. Right. Okay. All right. That's just 0.1% of you. That's fine too. Not a problem. Not a problem. Right. So my bootcamp is this in terms of Nigerian price right now. I showed you the template and the checklist. I showed you the workbook use cases. and the summary of all the other potential, well, all the other ISOs and the verbiage you can use, borrow the verbiage and use at work. So you have a holistic view of things. And it's 4 weeks. So it's not individually, but this is the value of each item. And the total value is 1.5. However, I have a surprise for you. Because you stayed for this long, I think we started about 4 o'clock. This is almost 6, right? I'm sure. You stayed for this long. You've invested time. You've been very, very interactive. You've responded to my questions. I also want to invest in your growth. As I said, I built my career. Thank you, Sarami, for that introduction. I built all that she said, starting as a BA about 20 years ago, 20-something years ago. Literally, BA. And I grew because of all those things that I know. It's a career I love, and it's the people that I love. I'm Nigerian, you all are Nigerian, except a few more people. I grew up in Nigeria, so I am very much, born and bred there. I'm in a position to give back to my community, and I really want to do that. And it's because of that, it is because of that that I am giving you this surprise package. So instead of paying 1.5 million, you're paying 500K. Okay? You get all this and much more. All that I talked about and much more. Let me give you more details. There's so many other organizations out there doing this, AI governance, this, AI governance, that. This is ours. This is GTC Group, Risk Academy, AI for Africa. These are their prices, okay? I know these are the things I provide, and I've just done a competitive analysis like we all do. We know that for each one, okay? This is how my own stands out. And the accountability. So we finished the course in 4 weeks, but that's not the end of me. You join my community, and we keep rubbing hands together. So the last cohort that I graduated, we have a 30-day plan from graduation, 60-day plan and 90-day plan. Each person has their own individualized plan. What I know when it comes to building this kind of thing is if you go on and do your own, it's easy to ignore it, especially when you have a job. Yeah, you guys are BAs, you have a job. I believe everybody has a job, so sometimes there is no incentive to push in more effort. This is where I come in. You're done in 4 weeks, the immersive program in 4 weeks. 30 weeks, I check up on you. How is the goal going? The goal that you wanted to achieve in 30 days. How is it going? 60 days, 90 days. If it's interview, I help you as well. So there's so much value I provide in my own bootcamp. And so if you are very much interested, you could sign up for the one that starts next week. It's 4 weeks. It's 12:30 noon, 12:30 p.m. West African time. It's live on Zoom. This is me. You see me again. And it's about 2 hours, less than that, 1 hour, 45 minutes, but on about 2 hours. And we go from there. Okay. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for participating. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for trusting me to go through this AI governance, what people need right now, how you need to reposition yourself for the AI governance demands that in the market, both as a result of regulatory standards, as a result of supply chain demands, as a result of what is happening in life. Thank you for trusting in me, and thank you for having me spend the afternoon with you, early evening with you. I'm going to put I'm going to put some things in the chat right now so you can check it later on. But yeah, that's it. Merci beaucoup. I speak a bit of French.
Thank you very much, Temi. Thank you. Thank you so much for such an insightful and thought-provoking presentation. I'm very sure everyone agrees that today's session has provided valuable perspective on the future of business analysis and increasing importance of AI governance. We really truly appreciate you for sharing both your knowledge and practical experience with us. So we can now open the floor for Q&A. Please, if you have any question, please feel free to unmute and ask. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for this insightful presentation. Like I have been looking for this AI governance. And by the way, I'm currently in Canada, right? So I think I left a couple of questions earlier. You made mention of websites where we can get direct newsletter into our inbox. So I don't know if there's anyone you know, like where we could get information about the whatever that's happening globally in the AI space.
I don't have a specific one, I know, but I look for what's happening in EU. So if you do EU AI Act and you go onto their website, like literally go to their website, you see what's happening there. So if you do in Canada, you could do AI. Okay, so in Canada, you could do the what's it called? The AI for all strategy. It's on, I've just forgot the name of the website right now. It's on the, I think, NRC app. I'll check it. We'll send it to you. So I go into fish for data, so supposed to receive things from into my emails directly. Because I do that because when things come to my email, I don't focus. I rather go search because I know what I'm looking for.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So that's one. Then secondly, I left the comment. So I think this cohort kicks off 11th of July. So many of us, maybe even me, I might not be ready for this one. So I'm asking to know if there will be subsequent cohorts, like maybe after this one, if there will be another one, maybe I could sign up for that one.
Yes, there's always one. It runs on a 4 weekly basis. So the next one is August 8th.
August.
But you have my LinkedIn. I put my LinkedIn in the chat, so reach out to me on LinkedIn, and it's just easier for me to manage that way.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I see a question on the chat. Will this also work in programs? It does work in program. Thank you, Taiwo. It works in the delivery space, and the way, so I've spoken to it from the lens of a BA. But if you currently work with BAs, you know how BAs work, and then just hand over some certain things to you. You, as a project, are understanding the risks, and it's good for you to be able to speak it, not just the risk of the project, the scope, quality, time, etc. It's not just that. It's being able to ask the questions when you're sat around the table to your other project team members, like, have we checked? So me as a PM project would speak to my QA to say, okay, have we captured any risks that could affect transparency? Have we tested? Have we written the test? What's a test case coverage like? I would ask those questions more to raise an awareness and not to downplay their role, if you see what I mean. So yes, it does. It does work, but also the artifacts, when I look at it from ISO 42001 perspective, things like AI policy, there's something called AI system impact assessment. There's what we call AI system of applicability. There is the risk management. There is the evidence check. All those artifacts need to be delivered by people. So in projects, when you write the activities, activity, write AI policy. Who's going to do that? When are they going to do it? When are they going to deliver it? Risk analysis or risk identification. Who owns it? When are they going to deliver? What are they going to do? Etc. So yes, it does work. There's something called AI project manager. So hope that answers your question, Taiwo. Perfect. Any more questions? Yes, Robert.
All right. Good evening. Thank you very much for the presentation. So I wanted to ask, I saw in the content of the bootcamp certification. So I wanted to find out what it entails, if it's based on attending the bootcamp or it's a standard certification, or what is in terms of the bootcamp also, if it's not a standard certification, would the bootcamp provide you with the knowledge required for you to take the standard certification for the AI governance?
Yeah. Okay. So, well, thank you. That's a very good question. When you attend this bootcamp, when you come out with you get certificate of completion. You only get that if you do all the assignments, okay? And you got to do, that's your evidence, that's your portfolio. For me, I care about the portfolio, like you can do the job, not just show certificate. So you build your portfolio, you get your certificate, you get the knowledge, you can go out and do it next day. One of the people in my first cohort, as I think with 2 that we started, she was already putting things on LinkedIn and what she was doing, because you have to show visibility. She was getting attraction engagement based on what she was writing, and she got interviewed. Now she's still in the process of interview. I'm hoping she lands the job. But the fact that you're showing value already, people know that you know your stuff. That's one thing. When you say that, does it provide you enough knowledge to go and do the certification? Well, there is a lot of certifications out there. There is the ISO 42001 certifications, which includes the foundational knowledge, includes the being an auditor, and the auditor, there is internal auditor, there is lead auditor, being an implementer, there is lead implementer, there is senior lead implementer. So what do you want to do? And there's also the AI governance practitioner. There is one that's very specific to the role, like finance and HR. So there's a lot of certifications. I'm doing like that, certifications on there. You need to know what you want to do. Feedback, and I don't have it right now, but feedback from from testimonials of people that have attended says, oh, tell me, this is great enough. This is good. I am taking this and I'm implementing already. I'm also already adding value at work. And so if you're looking at it from adding value at work, this is good for you. If you want a certificate that gives you attendance completion, fine, I'll give it to you. If you want to do if you want to do ISO 42001 foundations, ISO 42001 foundations, this gives you what you need to go write the exams. Okay.
All right. Yes, that does. But what about the implementer, the lead implementer certifications?
So the lead implementer, I'm a lead implementer, and you require a lot more. You create a lot more artifacts to produce more artifacts, because you are implementing for the organization. So instead of doing the gap analysis, so you're not a BA right now. Somebody does the analysis, they give you get to see what the gaps are. You then begin to build the solution to do all that. I cannot produce that for you. Like, I, as a trainer, I'm not going to produce that for you. And I'm not working in that line to give you the details, or because it's very much detailed, to give you the details of becoming an implementer. However, if you join this bootcamp, there's an element of implementation that I've added into there. There's also the element of looking at it from an auditor. I've added into there because I am also an ISO 13485 medical devices internal auditor. So what this will give you is being able to speak the language of it to the auditor, speak the language of an implementer. But being an implementer itself, I won't say this covers it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's clear.
You're welcome. Any more questions? Okay, well, so if there are no more questions, just to say that I put on the chat what did I say? The bootcamp, if you want to register for it, you have the 1 million discount saved, discounted. If you register in the next 6 hours, otherwise it jacks up to the normal price. And this is only for IBA people that attended today. My friend from Canada, if you decide to take it, you're so lucky. You're so lucky, because its original price in Canadian dollars is 1.5. So you're just blessed to make use of that discount. And then if you want to talk more about that, I have a 30 minutes free call on my link on my Calendly. I'll put the link on there. And if you want to reach out to me because you have questions or clarifications, that's my LinkedIn. I check my LinkedIn regularly. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you very much for having me here today. I'm going to stop sharing now. If I know how to share. Did I stop already? I think I stopped already. Perfect. Over to you, Sarumi.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Temi. Thank you very much. As we have come to the end of today's session, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to Temi for sharing our knowledge and valuable insights. Your presentation has not only deepened our understanding of AI governance, but has also challenged us to think about the evolving role of business analysts in an AI-driven world. To everyone who joined us today, thank you for your active participation and engagement. We hope you found today's section valuable and that you apply the insights gained in your professional journey. Please stay connected to the IIBA Nigeria chapter for upcoming events, learning opportunities, and networking sections. On behalf of the Committee of the IIBA Nigeria chapter, thank you once again for joining us. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you so much again, Timmy. See you when next we see. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.